Oh, and another goal for Super Eagles.
This is Premier Sports Center. I need it anywhere, take it anywhere. Don't forget to subscribe. Remember to click that subscription button.
Hello, welcome to Talk Sports. I'm Adeyemi Shegun and joined by Yemite and Apollo on today's program. With the 2025-26 season approaching, clubs around the Premier League are already making moves. Today we focus on transfer purchases alone. We'll cover outgoing players in our next episode, so let's dive in. But before going into the stories, I'll be introducing my pundits to you. Yemite to my near side. Yemite, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Transfer window and it's always an interesting time, pending the time the Club World Cup will come out being played. So we can't wait to see what's going on in there.
Okay, I'm spotting the Arsenal jerseys. Also, Polo in the studio. Though they finish some runner up to what's it called, Liverpool, they'll also be looking at mounting a challenge in the APL and UEFA Champions League if possible, and come 2025-2026 season. Polo, you're welcome to Talk Sports.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and very excited that the transfer window has finally opened, at least for the next 10 days. Due to the FIFA Club World Cup, but in the space of 3-4 days that it has opened, we've seen a lot of transfers being done. I'm still open for my darling club Arsenal to at least give us a name. At the moment, we've not signed anybody officially.
Okay, we'll start off at the Emirates Stadium and talking about Arsenal. Arsenal are yet to make any purchases so far, and instead, it seems to be clearing the decks. Are they hiding? Are they bidding their time or for something big? Let's go straight to the questions. Paulo, you're an Arsenal fan. Is this a sign of strategic patience or a lack of planning from Gunners?
Well, at the moment now, I can't really say, because you look at Arsenal and you look at teams like Manchester City and probably Liverpool, and you see the difference between both clubs. You could see that Liverpool, despite winning the league, they've quickly gone into the market, to strengthen their, team. And look at Manchester City with the news coming up that they're so close in getting, about one or two players. But look at Arsenal, one would have thought that, after what happened this season that just ended now, that Arsenal will be the first to announce signing of players, but up to now we've not. But I don't know if it's about patient or not, but I just hope in the coming days we'll definitely get one or two players coming in.
Okay, that's one thing the Arsenal fans really know how to do. They're always open, and let's see how they move them all in the transfer window as we approach on the 2025-2026 season.
Pushing in the transfer window this year is mostly because of the
Club World Cup.
And Arsenal is not part of it. So I don't think that Arsenal is delaying or anything like that. I just think that they are just taking their time. They are not going to Club World Cup. Man City, that is in our east, they are going to Club World Cup. Real Madrid, Club World Cup. Even Al Hilal, Chelsea, the clubs that are in a hurry to get their signings in, they are going to the Club World Cup. So I think that Arsenal, since they are not going there, they just calm down and be very patient to do their business. It's just June. Pre-season will start in July. Then you can start talking about maybe it will delay their pre-season.
So don't you think the big clubs, going all out right now, because we have the first, phase of the transfer window. That is June 1 to June 10. Yeah, that's the first phase of the window for the transfer market. Don't you think the big guys who are going to the Club World Cup now will be getting, the best set of players, and the rest will be left just going to be rubbles being left for the other clubs?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so also, because I think a lot of clubs, they've identified their targets, and probably they're looking at some other targets, teams, players playing in the FIFA World Club now, because there are a lot of players, teams that are not in the FIFA World Club who want to sign from those clubs that are playing there, but those clubs won't want to release them now, because they want those players to participate. So I think the FIFA World Club also is probably one of the reasons why the transfer window hasn't clubs haven't gone into the window like the way we
No,
expected it to be.
but when you look at it, some clubs that actually do their business as soon as possible and get out of the transfer window, because before it becomes inflated, we saw what Liverpool did to Chelsea on Moises Caicedo. Would have been 100 million. Chelsea ended up paying 115 million. So when you look at all those things, you want to do your business on time. And yes, there can be a point to worry about for Arsenal, because what if the best of the best, the main target, has been off the market? Then they will now be left with the average, of which now I think Arsenal should show a statement of intent. Yeah, they should show that, we want to win the league, and you act on it. Not that you just sit down and watch and watch. Now, what I just noticed is that it seems there is a box stop between Berta and Arteta, because according to what I heard, according to rumors, let me put it that way, Arteta wants Sesko, Berta wants Gyökeres. And when you look at it, Jorginho is leaving. We've not even here we go on Zubimendi. Everything is not cleared yet.
Talking about Zubimendi, yes, so there's still the rumors. We saw a lot of rumors coming up in the transfer market that yes, he's actually waiting on Real Madrid to come up with a bid. You talked about Xabi Alonso as being his mentor, and I think actually he's softly talking about him waiting for Real Madrid. Is that actually a good one for Arsenal?
Well, we've heard a lot of rumors coming up again right now, and talking about Zubimendi himself. I think he was confronted by one of those journalists at the national team camp there, where he talked about how he has been hearing a lot of things about him, even things he's not aware of. But he had to just post. There's a post he actually posted, I think on X, about him putting on an Arsenal jersey. But he said he's not aware of a lot of things, but you just have to move along. But at the same time, there's a news coming out today from one of the Arsenal journalists talking about Zubimendi, that the reason why that deal hasn't been officially announced is because there's Atletico Madrid wants to delay the announcement, because according to what Real Sociedad, that let me just go through that. The reason is financial, with La Roya account set to roll into new financial year next month.
Yeah, that's coming from July 1.
The profit from Zubimendi say will be booked under the 2020 new season, so that the club will
so is there an agreement between Arsenal and Sociedad? And that is the question now.
There's agreement, and
verbal agreement, or it's a confirmed agreement.
With the player.
If there's
no, I'm coming. Because the player is actually making himself available for Real Madrid.
Once you have not signed, any agreement is verbal. It's simply verbal. So what is even Fabri reported it?
There's no substantial agreement between Arsenal and the
just verbal.
Right now.
At the moment that's what it seems. But from all indication, it might go through.
Again, we're seeing where Zubimendi will playing his professional career.
And Arsenal might win the
next season. Will it be with Arsenal or will it be with Real Madrid, where Xabi Alonso is their new coach? Yes, they are also recruiting the very best of the best players. So Zubimendi is one name that will actually go through the rest of the transfer window. Lastly, on the Gunners, Paulo, are they possibly working under a financial constraint or waiting to feature or to offload more players on force? Because we know that there are a lot of players Arsenal really wants to offload. And PSR is on one side, and you have FFP on one side. A lot of constraints for the Gunners. It's long you guys won a trophy, so you are not at an advantage of spending money in the markets.
Yeah, I don't think Arsenal is working on any type. Today, Arsenal have officially released 20 players, and including Jorginho and the ones that are on loan.
Even Partey's released.
The news that today there are 3 players. Talking about Thomas Partey.
His contract ended June 30. Contract will be ending June 30.
The report coming out from the club direct now. This is not a rumor. Is that they are negotiating with Thomas Partey. And
it's still a rumor.
From the club. It's actually from the club.
It's a substantial.
It's from the club. Actually, I got it from there because the club actually released a statement about those list of players.
Official.
And they are negotiating with. They mentioned 3 players. That's Thomas Partey and.
But you're not at advantage because from January, a player can actually agree. Since
Yeah,
once he gets into the last 6 months.
Yeah, but I
of his
think
career.
Thomas Partey wants to stay at him also. But let's see, and hopefully, as an Arsenal fan, I think we want to see Thomas
Arsenal
Partey stay.
fans are no.
Again, we've seen
Yeah,
Thomas Partey will also
have
be
to-
playing his season next season.
You have
talking about
to.
that
The Arsenal
fan.
fans are born to.
Okay, running away from Arsenal, let's go straight to West London where we'll talk about Chelsea. Chelsea are staying active. They've secured the Brazilian prodigy Estevao Willian for 29 million euros and brought in Dario Sigo from Sporting Lisbon, and Raheem Sterling is back from his loan at Arsenal. What does the signing of Estevao signal about Chelsea's long-term vision?
Yeah, it's about young talent. Groom them, let them grow through the ranks, and sometimes cash in on them. I was telling somebody how many days ago that I think on a platform that Chelsea is tilting towards a business club now. It's not that club that is really ambitious that we used to know anymore. They are just for the business side of it, and if the trophies come, it comes. And if you know American owners, that's what they tilt towards most.
Well, yes, now you might look at it as business side, but there's still some players who are being touted as untouchable in the Chelsea side. The likes of what's it called, Cole Palmer, the likes of Enzo Fernandez, Moises Caicedo are seen as
How
untouchable.
many of them have any club tempted Chelsea's result?
Yeah, anybody can come in, but how much are they going to?
That's what I'm saying. That's a Chelsea of under Abramovich. If you like, bring 500 million, he won't give you 30.
But he saw the what's it called, Eden Hazard.
He wanted to go.
Yeah, that's
he
what-
had
that's
it.
what-
He
that's
had
what
the
about
clause
football.
in his contract.
And
Only
there's-
for
you know,
Real
there's-
Madrid.
I think there's
And Real
there's
Madrid
also a
came.
clause for those players that yes, if there's a substantial amount being offered, then they can also
That's what I'm
sell
saying.
them.
The reason why Chelsea will agree to that kind of clause is that they too are a profit oriented
Yeah, but we're going to business
company.
we're going
Yes,
to business for profits.
you go into business for profit, but the way you said, you have to balance winning with your trophies, with your profit, because you have to consider the feelings of the fan. The average fan in the club, the average Chelsea fan suffered a lot. This just imagine a Chelsea fan having high blood pressure because they want to face Nottingham Forest.
Okay.
It is an insult, honestly. It's an insult.
Alright, you can see that as an insult. But we're still talking about Estevao. He will be joining Palmeiras after the Club World Cup. What kind of a player do you think he is? We've seen a lot of highlights about that young man at the age of 18. Taking the Brazilian league at Storm. Will he be able to take the EPL at Storm at that level?
Yeah, I think so, but Chelsea didn't just sign him. I think he has signed him about a season and a half ago.
Last season.
Is it last season or
last window?
So, and we've seen a lot, but I'm beginning to worry or wonder where he's going to play. For Chelsea. Now that Chelsea are bringing
He's
in
on the right.
but Chelsea are looking on the right.
Yeah, where we have Madrid.
Right.
Madueke,
playmaker.
but I don't think he's going to bench it down for these players at the moment at Chelsea. He might come into maybe once.
Not Madueke.
Who?
You can say it might not bench Palmer, but not Madueke. Madueke is.
He's going to bench Madueke.
He can.
I don't think so.
He can.
But let's just see. But there's something here.
The same none is on market. Is available to be sold.
But Chelsea is not selling none Madueke. I'm still.
Even good.
I
There's no player Chelsea.
Are you
There's no player that's not on the
See,
market.
one thing I've learned about,
one thing about Chelsea is
yeah.
that there's no player who is not on the market as far as a good amount comes in. If Chelsea get a £50 million offer for Madueke today, they're actually going to sell Madueke.
The reason why I actually said that is, and I want to agree with what Yema said earlier on about Chelsea being on, buying those players for profit. Because one thing I've noticed with this era of is it Todd Bowley, because they've signed a lot of young players for Chelsea, and I've noticed that most of those players they've signed and sent on loan, none of them have come back to play for Chelsea in the last 3 years. You see that those ones that they want to use as first team, once they sign them,
Andres Santos is coming back from loan.
but we've not seen him.
There's
possibility he might be loaned back again.
No, I don't think they're going to.
There is, but if you agree with me that most of those ones they've sold now are those ones they've also bought and sent on loan, and I think that is what I've been saying, because I've not. You've talked about Andres Santos now, but I've not seen him played for Chelsea. We were talking off camera about Isaac Casaide now. They actually brought, and there were a lot
But
of.
they didn't buy Casaide. They were not the one who bought Casaide.
They bought him. It was
it Todd Boehly?
yeah, it's Todd Boehly.
The first season under.
Yeah.
Thomas
It was
Tuchel.
him. So I think let's just go back to William
Yes,
X. I think with a lot of things we've heard about him, and he has been caught up to the Brazilian national team. There are a lot of us, Chelsea fans, with a lot of expectation, excited to have him. But I just hope he comes, to the league and take the league by storm, because.
Yeah, I think my own biggest problem has to be, the pressure, the expectation on the shoulder
Yeah.
of that young man. Looking at how Hendrick, find it hard to break into the Real Madrid squad.
course.
I've seen Hendrick play some games for Real Madrid, and I'm like, yes, it looks like the hype is more than the talent
to
in
me,
that young man.
he looks like
yeah,
a childish,
Esteva looks like a talented young man, but I really want to see
I don't
what
agree.
it brings.
I don't agree. Don't mention
Hendrick.
childish when it comes to Hendrick.
Hendrick, to me, he plays.
Hendrick, see, listen. Hendrick is a victim of Mbappe.
I don't think so.
No. Go and check. Look at his numbers versus the number of minutes he played in Madrid.
You mean in
Look
Madrid
at his
or
goal in Madrid.
where
Go
he's
and check
coming
his
from?
goal and assist with the amount of minutes he played. He even have Champions League goals.
I know he has
See,
Champions League,
he's
but
a
to me-
victim of Mbappe coming to the Real Madrid.
So
At the
everybody's
same
a
time,
victim of Mbappe now.
listen, not everybody. We are talking
No,
about Hendrick. We have not see
If-
when you say everybody.
No, I
Maybe
mean
we have
the
been
Madrid-
having no.
Madrid front line now.
No. That's an error.
Because that's what I've been
what you
hearing.
said is an error. See, you cannot say everybody. We just started a discussion. We are talking about Hendrick alone. If you say everybody, what other person have we spoken to that Mbappe has affected?
Well,
Yeah, mention.
Said,
Mention
Junior,
one.
Rodrigo,
That's not
and
the topic.
even
Is Vinicius not starting?
But again,
English
yeah,
midfielder.
look at Hendrick's stats on last season. He has played 22 matches in the Spanish La Liga. He had just one goal, and also in the Champions League he played about 9
Minutes.
matches.
I'm not talking about
he played
matches.
9 matches. No,
Minutes.
You actually talk about his
I said
goal.
minutes.
No, calm down.
Minutes.
You talk about his
I think
goal
Adagula
also.
is
Yes,
even
his goal
better
and the
than
minutes.
him.
And you look at it in the Champions League, he played 9 games for Real Madrid and scored just 1 goal. That is
How many
2 goals.
minutes?
That is 2 goals last season.
How many
Yeah,
minutes?
It doesn't
before
matter
talking
if
about
he's
the minutes, yeah, we're
27,
talking about in
29
about
games,
over 30
30
appearances. That
games,
means
you
he's
got
playing
2 goals.
over 300 minutes for Real Madrid last season.
With
The
the-
numbers, no, the numbers are actually not there for
The
me.
stats are there.
The stats is
You
not
could-
really
I think
on the
Adagula is
side for Real
even
Madrid.
having a better season than him based on.
Adagula is a midfielder. Hendrick is playing behind Kylian Mbappe. You can't compare.
But
You cannot
playing
compare.
22 games in the La Liga.
You can't say 22 games of 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
How many games from your
2 minutes,
What is
3 minutes, 5 minutes. Just go and check now.
How
many minutes?
Yes, that is 847.
I remember
minutes.
the Copa del Rey.
He actually averaged 847 minutes.
Most
for
of
Real
it is
Madrid.
Copa del Rey.
This
Go
is
and check.
847 minutes. You're serious.
Copa del
We'll
Rey.
be coming-
Check
we'll
the
be
Copa
coming-
del
we'll
Rey
be coming
minutes.
to the
I
La
know what
Liga.
I'm
We'll be coming
saying.
to the La Liga. I'm coming. Yes, he started. He started 3 matches for Real Madrid in the La
From the
Liga,
22?
and he actually was substituted in 19 matches for Real
That's
Madrid. He was
22,
on
yeah.
bench for 15 games. So you playing 800. You playing 837 matches. We are
Across
talking
all
about
competition.
across all competition. That is about you starting about 12 to 13 matches for Real
Yeah,
Madrid.
definitely.
I don't think so.
90 minutes.
I don't think he started.
No, 9 times 10 is 900. We're talking about 9 times 10. That is 90 minutes times 10. That is 900. So
Yeah.
you have an
See, you
average
can't
of
say
10 matches.
it
No,
didn't
when you are
start
calculating,
10
when you are
matches. See,
he
listen.
averaged
See,
10 matches for Real
okay,
Madrid.
for instance, a game that Madrid is leading 2-0, 3-0. They open give me. Hardly will you see Madrid looking for a goal.
Yeah, right.
And
Let us
the next
leave
guy
that-
they
let's
bring
leave
in
the
is
issue.
Hendrick.
'Cause when we
Maybe
talk about-
because he's
when we
still
talk about
young.
when we talk about statistics here now, we are talking about he played about 30 matches for Real Madrid last
Yeah.
season. At 837 minutes,
Minutes.
that is means he's averaging 90 minutes in about 8 or 9 matches of those games. You can't tell me there are games where he didn't play up to 10
And I think he
minutes for
even
Real
had
Madrid
more
last season.
minutes to me compared to Adagula.
Oh, are you telling me he didn't- are you
Appearance.
telling me he didn't play
Wait,
90
check
minutes
check
last
his
season?
appearance.
He played now.
in,
Are you telling me he didn't play 90
wait,
minutes last
check
season?
his
He played.
check his. He
Two
played
goals, two
most
goals.
the 90 minutes he played mostly is from the Copa del Rey.
So why
I
is
think,
not scoring more
I
goals
think
in the
even
Copa
La
del Rey?
Liga.
How many did he score?
He has 2 goals all through last season.
One in the
No.
Champions
He
League
scored.
and one-
Go and check.
One
Copa
goal in the
del Rey.
Champions League,
And
one goal.
sometimes the sites are not right.
Listen,
Check
that-
Copa del Rey.
Wait,
What's
upon him,
Copa del Rey?
37 games last season for Real Madrid.
How many goals in Copa del Rey?
That is 5 goals in Copa
Yeah,
del
but
Rey.
you said 1-1 now.
One in Champions League, one in La Liga.
1-1.
Because I
You
don't
said
really
no.
count Copa del Rey.
The La
as-
Liga and the Champions League are the main leagues whereby it just comes in 5 minutes, 10 minutes. What will it do? What will it do in between that time?
left
The
wing.
games he started, Copa del Rey, most of the games he started, he scored 5 goals.
left to me, he hasn't really lived up to expectation.
That
at
is
Real
where I'm
Madrid.
going to.
That is it.
I'm just
Because
saying, I will still stand on it.
You
See, he has been a victim of Mbappe coming to
Carlo
Madrid.
Ancelotti was actually asked about Hendrik.
It was embarrassing to me.
And he said yes, his manager at Real Madrid needs that.
Maybe he forgot that he was the manager.
Yeah, he actually, it was sarcastic. He knew what he was saying. But we're seeing what Chelsea actually, bring what Stevio brings into Chelsea when he joined up with Chelsea for the 2025-2026 season. And we're also talking about one man who also played in the Spanish La Liga last season with Las Palmas, who has been relegated. Dario Esigo, which Chelsea signed them from Sporting Lisbon. Is there any chance of him breaking into this very competitive midfield setup, knowing fully well that there's Andres Santos, there's a Romeo Lavia, there's Caicedo, there's Enzo Fernandez in that midfield also. What is the possibility of Esigo breaking into that Chelsea starting 11?
Well, I don't think Chelsea have actually come out to inform the fans or football world if he's going to stay, because for with Chelsea now, because we know Chelsea, once they sign most of those players, they tend to send them on loan. He's still young, I think 20 years old, yes. And if he's even going to stay, probably stay till January, then send him on loan like they did with, I think, Chukwuemeka and co. So, but I don't think he's going to break into the team. I don't think he's better than Roman Lavia. And I don't think it's it's better than what's his name, the Andre Santos.
Yeah, mate. Yes, last season we saw, Caicedo played the all 38 matches for Chelsea in the EPL. And if you've watched Esigo, play for Lisbon, Sporting Lisbon, also Las Palmas, they are almost, like for like when it comes to the way he tackles, the way he holds onto the ball. Do you think Chelsea will be keeping on to Esigo?
Yeah, I think it depends on Lavia mainly. If Lavia is available and the medical staff authenticate it, I think Esigo will be going on loan, or maybe Lavia go on loan. Because you can't keep three holding midfielder. One will complain, and when there's grudge in the, you don't want to keep grudgy player in your squad. So I think Esugo mainly is for business. I think it's business because he's one of those players too that can mature over time. And if Chelsea could spend 115 on a defensive midfielder, another club might be willing to splash the cash too.
Okay, lastly on Chelsea, we're talking about Raheem Sterling will be returning from Arsenal on loan. Is there any still chance of him or a role for him at Chelsea, or is it just passing through before another move? And Chelsea have said one thing, that he's not going to the Club World Cup with Chelsea.
Yeah, Enzo Maestra said it immediately. He came in, he said he's not interested in Sterling. So I think Sterling will just find other suitable destination for him, and he just have to move on.
Why are you guys not keeping him? Because I saw in the news Arsenal signing his 9 years old kid to the youth team. Are you going to separate a father from a child now?
Well, the difference between Sterling contract with Arsenal and the one of Manchester United and Chelsea, talking about Jadon Sancho, there's obligation to buy, and for Chelsea, Sterling, there was no any obligation to buy at the end of the season. So I think we've done the right thing because he didn't actually live up. He told us when he come that we will see his best. We didn't see. I think we saw his worst. And it's the right thing for us not to return him. So if we are talking about pushing for the league, I don't think Sterling is the kind of player we need at the moment. So I think it's back to his rightful home.
Back to his rightful home. Okay, talking about Chelsea, and one man who has returned back to home has to be Jadon Sancho. They couldn't agree, personal terms with his agents. Do you think they are over asking? Are they asking too much? Are they overshooting, asking for £200,000 weekly for Jadon Sancho at Chelsea? Chelsea were ready to offer just £110,000 to £140,000 a week for the England international.
One thing I've noticed about players and is they don't like, most of them don't want to, mostly the young guns, they don't like lowering their wages. They tend to increase the wage, and I think the issue probably Chelsea at the beginning, they could have sit with him and talked, tell him or talk to him about how the wage structure now at Chelsea, because if you look at Chelsea, they're trying to clear out those guys on big salary, talking about Sterling, the guy from Chilwell, Fofana, so but to me I think I was really sad when I heard the news that Chelsea will not be, because I think I was in the studio here, but maybe few weeks ago, when I was asked should Chelsea be retaining, and I said if Chelsea make it through the Champions League, they should be retaining him. But if they fail to make the Champions League, they can easily pay that money. I think Chelsea, Jadon Sancho actually deserve playing with Chelsea in the Champions League, because he worked for it. Nobody will say Sancho didn't. Actually worked for it, but since it's a salary issue, and he's not ready to lower his wages, and I don't think anybody's going to blame Chelsea for that, because Chelsea wants to sign him, but he doesn't want to lower his wages. If he wants to remain at Chelsea, he would have lowered his wage. Probably he might also be thinking that he might not be getting a start, guaranteed a start. So probably that's the reason. Just decided, let me just go back to Manchester United. I'll be getting that money, and what was they loan me to another club? Man U and the club will have to share the burden again. I think it's still had about 3 years with
Yeah,
Man U.
okay. Yeah, Mike. Chelsea have been linked to getting Garnacho still on that same week where they've lost Jadon Sancho. There's also Mijako Modric, who we don't really know his future with Chelsea, but Garnacho and Gittins been linked to Chelsea. Are they good replacements for Jadon Sancho who's leaving?
I think for me, Gittins will be a good replacement, especially the familiarity around Man City. A lot of Man City players are in the Chelsea setup. Even the coach, former Man City, even one of the guys running the even the new side. Yeah, so when you look at those factors, that's why they are more serious on Gittins than Garnacho. But for me, I think that Jadon Sancho didn't cover himself in glory. He didn't deserve the amount he's asking for based on his performance at Chelsea. You cannot get, I think, 3 goals or 4 assists.
3, 4, yeah.
But those goals were crucial goals.
Yes,
What
crucial
is
goal, but
crucial?
200
They were all
actually.
crucial goals.
Crucial.
Yeah.
Why you not signing Sterling?
I have explained to you there's difference between, we didn't have any
Will you take
obligation
Arsenal
to
signing Sancho?
I don't think Arsenal will be able to offer him that amount. No.
No, that
Well,
amount.
you expect
Yes.
Chelsea to find that amount?
No, I think, to be honest, if Sancho had given what he gave to Chelsea, helped us Arsenal, if he was at Arsenal last season and he gave what he gave, and despite helped us push Martinelli, I think they might be considering it, because you look at the Martinelli.
So you guys considered Ceballos when he came to Arsenal?
I think Ceballos was a bit,
You're always thinking that's my problem.
fear.
That's the problem with
No. Ceballos wasn't completely.
You see, you can be trying to pitch it here or there.
No,
Sancho, performance-wise, be objective about it. He does not deserve that 250. Is it what the 3 goals for
I didn't
assist?
say
No,
he
that's-
deserved.
You're telling me.
No.
Okay.
I
He
never
scored
said he
3.
deserved it,
He
but I
scored.
said, yeah,
He
if he
scored
wants
3
us to play at
important
Chelsea,
goals.
could have
He scored
been
3 important
Yeah,
goals.
what I say
Out
is that
of how
his
many
goals were
goals in a
important.
season?
It
I don't know.
doesn't matter.
Wait, he scored 3 important goals, Abi. If they remove his goal from the Conference League final, Chelsea will not win it.
I'm not saying that. What
No,
I'm saying
I'm
is,
just
I actually
saying
said
now.
he scored a
No, you
crucial
said
goal.
it
There are goals that are
crucial.
There are goals that
How?
are very important.
Chelsea qualified for the Champions League with 3-point gap. If he didn't equalize against Ipswich, we will lose 1 point. We will still qualify with 2 points. No, important goals, Abi. No, so when you start minusing it, see, let us call a spade a spade. 3 goals, 4 assists, 250k a week is nonsense. It's not even 150 that Chelsea is offering him. It's like Chelsea is just trying to be generous. 3 goals for assist. For what?
I don't know, but you guys got him on.
No.
You guys actually got him on a cheap. Is it not?
Okay, Chelsea will pay
On a 5 million 1 year.
Yeah.
It's cheap.
It's a cheap.
It's cheap.
Of course, now we've seen players come for 8.
The same Arsenal.
No,
It's
it's
cheap.
different clubs now.
Okay, Chelsea will pay a penalty of £5 million to Manchester United for returning or breaching that's an agreement on Jadon Sancho. So we wish Jadon Sancho a very good future
They will
wherever he'll be
deduct,
joining
Mason
to.
Mount
Probably
3.5.
he'll be joining to the Saudi Arabia League, because that is where this kind of players goes and they expect on that big money. Yes, he can be getting his 300, 350 when he goes to Saudi Arabia League. But one thing I really know is that I don't think any EPL club will be willing to pay Jadon Sancho that amount. You actually need to work for those amounts. But let's move straight to a club. We're talking about the champions of the EPL, Liverpool. Right now, Liverpool have added 2 key players attacking right back, and Jamie Frimpong from Bayern Leverkusen for £29.5 million, a goalkeeper of Georgi Mamadasvi from Valencia for £29 million. Does Frimpong arrival changes Liverpool's approach to their attacking build-up?
It doesn't really change. It's like for like attacking, but this one is just more defensively aware than Trent that is leaving. So I think that is just a like for like replacement, and they can flow with it.
Again, also talking about the goalkeeper, the sign from Valencia. Yes, that is the Georgia goalkeeper, Mama Zavi, coming in. What does this mean for Alisson's future, or it's more of a goalkeeper depth at Liverpool? Yes, I think Alisson will be leaving Liverpool. That is one thing. I don't really expect him to be a second choice goalkeeper.
But
Kelia has joined
Brentford.
Brentford.
To me, I don't think him coming has anything to effect on Alisson Becker.
So you expect Georgie to be a second choice goalkeeper?
Of course, he's going to. Yeah, he's going to be.
Alisson
going to be. As far as Alisson is at Liverpool.
So it's just like he will grow. The same thing Chelsea did with Courtois and Cech.
Okay.
So he will grow into that role. So I think that's why Keller looked at it. But to me, I just think Liverpool wanted to waste money.
I think they've signed the goalkeeper before they now realize that. We've seen that Keller.
He was on at Valencia for last season.
Yes, they signed him and loaned him. But if you look at this Keller now, I think he's a very good backup, and I think with time. Because I've seen matches he kept for Liverpool. It was very, very fantastic, most of those matches. But,
okay, that's no way we'll talk about Liverpool without talking about that man, Florian Wirtz. What does it stand for Liverpool right now?
I think that is the demand Bayern Leverkusen is making on him. I think that's too much. It might push Liverpool to walk away from the deal. Because if Liverpool is not buying, Bayern Leverkusen will lose at the end.
There's still Bayern Munich who are also interested in Florian.
Bayern Munich will not pay that amount.
And
Bayern will not pay.
Manchester City has
Bayern that they had to push themselves to spend 100 million on Kane. Bayern will not pay 130 for Florian Wirtz. Even 110 that Liverpool has proposed. I think the guy is okay for that amount.
Okay, Paulo talking about Florian Wirtz. Manchester City has gone for Ryan Cherki of Olympique Lyon for £40 million. But when you look at both players, not 40 million. He'll be joined for £40 million. But when you look at both players, it looks like what's it called? Cherki is almost there on the same level with Florian Wirtz.
I don't think I don't think so, because look at both. If you look at their CV, it's quite different. Most of these clubs also they look at CV. Florian Wirtz is way above him. I'm not saying Cherki is but if you look at their CV, they are different. Florian Wirtz is way above, and I think they're almost the same age also, the same range, but I think Florian Wirtz will definitely do the job for Manchester City, but that would have done the job for Manchester City also, because the KDB himself is going, but I think the Manchester City actually pulled out because of the same.
I think Tijani is actually a good replacement for KDB, because Florian Wirtz and KDB are not on.
Tijani is a very hard-working
but do you know that? See, if not for the finance, the number one target of Man City is Florian Wirtz, and there's a reason why there's number one. Florian Wirtz is just the player that will perfectly fit in what De Bruyne was doing at Man City.
Again, talking lastly about Liverpool, does this move signal a new tactical direction under Arne Slot?
The deal is not yet done, and I don't think that.
I don't think so. I think he wants to maintain with whatever tactics that actually worked for him last season. Because if you look at the players that are bringing in, they are still likes for likes on the areas that.
I think that Florian Wirtz is one of the main reasons they want to bring him is they want to look for another player that can carry the team, because Salah is on his last legs already. So I think that's just what they want to do. They are looking for that guy that will carry the team after Salah has left.
Again, we'll be going straight to Manchester City now. It's Pep Guardiola preparing for another surprise shuffle. Should fans be concerned about the caliber of players who Manchester City are signing right now. There's an agreement with Tijani Rajnas from from AC Milan, who they actually triggered around 55 million pounds, if I'm not mistaken. A fantastic player with the Netherlands national team, and he was adjudged as to be one of the very best player for AC Milan in last season. And 55 million pounds looks like a good deal for Manchester City.
Yeah, and it looks like a good deal, but until it comes to join Manchester City, we'll definitely see what it's going to. Because you look at Manchester City now, they've been making a lot of signings. They are the only club that spent over 200 million during the winter transfer. To be honest, you look at those guys they brought in. I think only Omar Mamouche, actually justify the amount they spent on him. You look at players like Kushanov that they spent 40 million on. I don't think though they might still have him in the come next season, but I think he will still will be playing from the bench. But the caliber of players that have been linked to now, I think we've seen those players with their respective clubs. They are very good, but I just hope they will come and do the job for Manchester. If not, it's just just throwing those money up in the air.
Okay, yeah, but there's no talking about Manchester City, and look at the players who they are being linked to. Aitnori from Wolverhampton, a fantastic wing back with Wolverhampton, and also with the Algerian national team. And we also talk about Ryan Cherki, the French international, and also Livramento, another fullback who Manchester City have been linked to.
From Newcastle, yeah.
Quality players for Manchester City.
For me, I think I've not seen much of Nuri actually, but for Livramento,
no, it's very
it's not. I said it's not that I've not seen at all. I've not seen much of him, but I've seen a lot of Livramento, and I think it will be good for Man City setup. The way they build up from the back is mobility and the strength to go up, down the wing back right there, and he can also deputize on the left and at the same time on the right. So they are getting a player like Cancelo who can do the both and has a lot of energy in him. But when you look at Nuri, I've not seen much of him, but the little I've seen is not a bad left back.
Okay,
as far as I'm concerned.
talking about okay,
actually, I want to talk about Tino Livramento. I think I don't know if the deal is actually maybe.
To me, I think
Newcastle
it's going to be difficult.
It's going to be very difficult because they don't have. They are in the Champions League, and secondly, you look at their right back, which is what's his name now, the almost 30-something years, the former Tottenham Hotspur Trippier. And I think it will be very hard. The only thing that will convince him probably they have to his wages. And the guy will have to push for the move, because if you look at Newcastle now, they are not in a hurry to
and they actually
put any player.
So they are the richest club in the world.
So I don't think it's going to be easy.
Okay,
they have the richest owners.
Let's go straight and talk about Manchester City. Should they be trusting their academy players more than ever next season?
That's what Guardiola is saying. Give me 24, 25, 23, 24. And marathon of football, then if there's injuries are not bringing the academy players. So there's no team that won't want to, with the presence of FFP and PSL, you trust your academy players more. So that's just it. Even Newcastle we spoke about, Miley and some guys came from the academy also to help them when they had that injury crisis. So
I'll get straight to the Old Trafford. We'll talk about Manchester United, who has made a bold move, signing Matheus Cunha from Wolverhampton for £62 million. The only major purchase so far, but they are also been linked to Mbeumo from Brentford. We'll be seeing how Manchester United are going to move their way through the transfer window, knowing fully well that PSR and FFP is also on their neck. It's clear what's the price tag and how does it fit into the Ruben Amorim's system.
Yeah, I think if you look at that Cunha's deal, they've been having the conversation with Wolverhampton Wanderers even before they played the Europa League final, because I tend to look at this Mbeumo deal also now that is about to eat a rock now, though it doesn't, but the way it's looking, they might not get him because of Uji. And I think they actually got Cunha because Cunha just wants to stick with whatever agreement they've had, because they had personal time with him and for a very long time, and also with Wolf, So getting Cunha, if you look at what Cunha did for Wolf last season, I think he tallied or he broke the record of the Brazilian that scored the highest goal in the Premier League. I think he tallied it, or I'm not sure if he actually broke the record, but I think he tallied it. And coming into Manchester United, we saw Manchester United last season. And everyone will agree that they need a lot of there's a lot of work to be done at Manchester United, and starting with bringing on a new set of players, and they still have some players that they need to let go, which they've not even let those players go. But Kunwa is a very fantastic player, and I hope he just he comes to Manchester United and give his best like he did with Wolves. But we've seen a lot of players coming to Manchester United, but at the end of the day, the rest is history. But for what's it called, the other guy named Mbuemo, the Jew, is looking very, very likely that though it's about let me just say 50-50 now, because Brentford, I think they've agreed on a deal with Manchester United, but the issue is with Mbuemo.
Okay, straight up talking about the likes of Rashford, Højlund, and Bruno Fernandes, who actually, left that deal to Al Hilal, big money on the table, but he said he wants to continue playing at the highest of of his career. Højlund has been linked to Inter Milan, and Rashford been linked to Barcelona. The signing of Kura and the possible signing of Mbuemo. Will this be signaling the end of these three players or two of these players?
Yeah, I think Rashford is going. The same thing as Sancho, and I think Højlund too will leave. So they need to strengthen up front. It's going to be a long summer for Man U. It's someone that is really blink. It's not really clear what they can do, because now they can't spend the way they would have loved to, because there's no European football to balance their books. So they will try to be careful, and at the same time they need to come back to where they belong. And so I don't envy the people at the ends of affairs at Man U.
Okay, Paulo. Just looking at the signings Manchester United are making, the one they are building to, and the one they've completed, are United solving the right problems with the signing?
I don't think they've actually, because if you look at, he talked about Højlund moving. I don't think Højlund will be moving. If you look at the two players now, talking about Kunwa and let's just agree they've signed Mbuemo. Both of them are not number 9. And I think the only recognized striker at Manchester United is actually, what's his name now? Højlund. Maybe if you now add Obi Martin, which I
think Højlund might be moving to Inter Milan.
That's what I'm saying. With the signing they've made, I don't think they've actually, getting the area, because you look at Manchester United, a lot of their fans say they are one of the teams that scored the fewest goals. And when you talk about those teams, I think they scored 44 goals last season in the league. And you look at other clubs, they scored a lot of goals than Manchester United. So I don't think Manchester United have actually, that area. But if you look at Kunwa, I think even at the end of they play at from the left side of the attack, probably coming on to replace the Garnacho that might likely be moving, and players like Sancho and Rashford, they are not in the plan, So those ones.
I just think Kunwa will play in behind the number 9. That's
probably, but
because I think Amorim is more interested in playing as a double turner. We've seen him, try Bruno Fernandes as even more of a central midfielder position. So I think Bruno might not be getting more of an attacking position.
And at the same time, you look at Mbuemo also. He tends to come in from that right hand side of the attack.
Yeah,
also,
you need two solid players to compete.
But it depends on the kind of formation now.
Yeah, Diallo needs a competition. Diallo was out for how many weeks?
I know. Can Mbuemo play as a wing back?
Not wing back.
We saw it with Diallo.
See, listen. If you want to look at it, the teams, they have players that can do double work on the field. Some just their role. So it depends. When the Man U takes shape with their signing, then we can begin to predict where we will play what.
Okay, lastly, we're going straight to Tottenham Hotspur, who have confirmed the signing of on loan Kelvin Danso from RC Linz for 20 million pounds, sorry, and also secured the promising talent Luka Vuskovic from Ashley Split. Is Danso the defensive leader Spurs have been missing? But I don't really think he'll be starting for Tottenham Hotspur.
He was part of the team that won.
But he wasn't starting. You look at the injuries to the defense line. Probably that was why. I think he's a quality one.
No, he actually started a lot of matches due to the injury they had to.
they
Tottenham
lost many of
suffered
it.
injury
A lot
to
of-
the two full, talking about Van der Ven and Romero. And I think come next is definitely going to have a lot of playing time because what's his name? The Argentine, I think he will be moving on because he has been having this conversation,
Romero.
talking about his love for La Liga, why you are playing. And there are a lot of Tottenham fans that have been saying, why can you be doing that to the club now when you are still with, and you are talking about, and Atletico Madrid have been, trying to poach him. So I won't be surprised if he move and Danso. And the reason Tottenham actually bought Danso is because he actually helped them, when they need. So they just had to pay Lens that money. He helped them qualify for the UEFA Champions League. I think it's the,
Okay, let's talk about that long-term project. How much of a long project is on Luka Vuskovic? Will he go straight into the senior squad?
For now, you can't really talk about the senior squad when they are not sure about their coach. They need to settle the coach
Yeah.
first. After you settle your coach, then you can talk about the players that will start or not start.
Yeah. And I think they said there will be a report. Is it this week? Probably before we will know who's the manager.
Okay, lastly on Tottenham Hotspur, are Tottenham quietly building a solid foundation, or are they still lacking ambition? Knowing fully well that there's still, the future of Ange Postecoglou, who is hanging right now.
Yeah, the first thing to resolve is the managerial. Then, when you solve the manager's issues, then manager will identify loopholes, tell the sport director, and okay, these are the profile that fits this loophole we have. So the first thing is manager, and once they solve that, then we can begin to look at, okay, this is the direction Tottenham Hotspur is going. But till then, I don't think they've sent any message.
Okay, so then, like I said, it's always a pleasure having you guys. If only time can allow us, we'll talk about so much about sports.
Yeah, so much.
Okay, yes, that is the wrap up of